What makes a ruler truly great? Is it the strength of their arm, their skill in battle, or the wisdom of their decisions and the justice with which they govern? Today, we'll talk about Jaehaerys I Targaryen, known as the Conciliator, the Old King, and the Wise. He was not just a dragon rider, but the monarch who ruled Westeros the longest, shaping the Seven Kingdoms during his impressive 55 years on the Iron Throne. How did he transform a realm plagued by violence and intrigue into a period of unprecedented prosperity and stability? Jaehaerys was born in turbulent times. He was the son of Prince Aenys Targaryen and Lady Alyssa Velaryon, and grew up amidst conflicts and revolts. As a youth, his family suffered greatly from the power disputes that marked the reign of his uncle Maegor the Cruel. But Jaehaerys soon stood out for being different. At 14, while Maegor was still in power, the young prince already demonstrated sharp intelligence and uncommon courage. His ascent to the throne, following Maegor's mysterious death, was the first step toward restoring peace in the kingdom. But how did such a young king manage to unite the lords who had been oppressed by Maegor? It was through a combination of forgiveness and firmness. Jaehaerys offered clemency to many who had served his uncle, but also severely punished those directly involved in Maegor's cruelties. This balanced approach won the respect of the lords and the trust of the people. He knew that strength alone would not suffice to govern Westeros. It required wisdom to understand the needs of the realm and leadership to guide his actions. Besides his political skills, Jaehaerys was a skilled warrior. Trained from a young age, he mastered the weapons and rode the mighty dragon Vermithor. His love for travel led him to explore much of the kingdom, creating a unique connection with his people. Alongside his sister wife, Queen Alysanne, he dedicated himself to understanding the challenges faced by commoners and nobles alike. This made his reign not just a period of stability, but also of significant social progress. Speaking of Alysanne, she was a fundamental piece in Jaehaerys' reign. The queen was not just a decorative figure. She had an active voice in the king's decisions and played a crucial role in the reforms that marked her husband's reign. Together, they abolished antiquated practices like the Lord's right to the first night and made decisions that brought relief to the lower classes. The pair was seen as the perfect combination of strength and compassion, ensuring that the kingdom prospered peacefully. However, not everything was easy during Jaehaerys' reign. He faced significant personal tragedies, such as the premature death of several of his children, including Princess Daenerys, who died from a terrible plague. These losses deeply shook him, but he always found strength in the duty to protect and govern the realm. He immersed himself in work to forget his sorrows and continue his mission of keeping the Seven Kingdoms at peace. Jaehaerys was also responsible for establishing one of the greatest administrative feats in Westeros' history, the creation of the first unified code of laws in the kingdom. With the help of his advisors, especially the wise Septon Barth, he organized and reformed the laws that were chaotic and unequal before. This achievement ensured his reign was remembered not just for peace, but also for justice. His commitment to fairness brought long-term stability to the Seven Kingdoms. Now, what makes Jaehaerys' figure even more fascinating is the contrast with his predecessors and successors. He governed during a period that preceded the Civil War, known as the Dance of the Dragons, where the Targaryens would enter a devastating conflict that nearly ended their dynasty. Jaehaerys' vision, his ability to anticipate problems, and most importantly, his willingness to mediate conflicts, ensured his reign was one of the most prosperous in Westeros' history. But after his death, the tensions he had managed began to resurface, culminating in the fall of his lineage. And in the end, Jaehaerys' legacy is not just about battles won or treaties signed. It's about how he inspired confidence in his people, how he managed to create a realm where peace and progress were possible. He showed that the true greatness of a ruler lies not just in their strength, but in the wisdom with which they govern and the justice they offer their people. But would all his efforts have been in vain? Would the Seven Kingdoms be destined for the chaos that eventually engulfed them without him? And here's the final question. If Jaehaerys had been alive during the Dance of the Dragons, would he have been able to prevent the conflict that decimated his own house? What would he have done differently to prevent the Targaryens from being consumed by the fire and blood of their own ambition?